All right, Ricky here with Breaking Your Barriers. I'm going to be having a collaboration with another fellow oratorical artist. He goes by the name of John Rhone. This man, we have been trying to get together so we can collab and give tips to our fellow speakers. And here we are tonight on a
Finally.
beautiful Saturday evening, and we're going to be sharing some ideas with you. Most importantly, when we do start, if you want us to give you more ideas, you've got to post some questions, specific questions, not just how do we become a better speaker? How do we become better on stage? How do we get over shyness? Because you can learn that by just doing it. But with that said, I want to go ahead and introduce the main host for tonight. I'm going to call him the main man, John Rhone. We're going to go ahead and ask questions of one another from each other's experience and leave some tips for our fellow speakers, keynotes, and Toastmasters.
All right, thank you, Ricky. That's too much shine for me that I'm not used to. But thank you nonetheless. Or we'll get into it in terms of our tips for tonight. We have some. Hopefully, we can come out tonight with some very good tips for you guys. And let's go with the first one. I suppose, Ricky, what's one of the best tips that you think someone has given you in your initial stages as a Toastmaster member that you've remembered?
The funniest tip I've ever received, it's just that I was so brand new to the club. And when they finally had a meeting and I attended my very first meeting, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "I'm going to represent you guys in competition." And I also went behind the ears. So the greatest tip I ever received was, "Ricky, give your icebreaker first," which means take it step by step. So no matter what you want to do with regards to your speaking career or your speaking progression, the best thing you can do is take it one step at a time and at your pace. If you're fast, go fast. If you're slower, take it at the pace that's most comfortable until you can move at a faster pace as you progress.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that one, because when you initially join Toastmaster, you'll find that there's some people that join and they'll come in and that first icebreaker is like nothing. It's like they've done 1,000 speeches already, and some people are just that confident to start. But remember, that's just the icebreaker. That's just talking about yourself initially, so anybody can really ramble in a sense, and they're really good at it. But some people just have that vibe in the beginning. But as long as you start, the important thing is to start and then continue and be consistent. I'm pretty sure you'll get there. Just some people are turtles and some people are, I don't know what the next one is, but foxes.
Hares, foxes, yeah.
Hares and foxes. So if you're a turtle, don't worry. You'll get the fox status one day. So
actually, one of the things I want to share, John, is some people have approached me and asked me to go, "Oh, I don't want to compete until it's back in person." And this is such a wonderful opportunity for them to get out of their comfort zone by competing online. Anybody can compete in person because you're working off the energy of everybody that's around you and in front of you. However, when it's just you and this eye that's looking at you, it forces you to be more engaged. It forces you to really push yourself even further. So when they tell me, "Oh, I don't want to compete till it's in person," you're doing yourself a disservice of becoming something that's even more powerful than what you are today. So that would be my second tip. Really, don't wait for it to get back in person. Compete now. Don't worry about the trophy. Don't worry about the accolades. Think about who you're going to become when you do this and experience it.
another thing I agree with, competing online, it's a different, definitely a different thing to adjust to, because imagine now you're online, you have to worry about your audio, your lighting, whether or not you're standing, you're in position, your gestures. These are all things you have to be cognizant on when you're virtual, which normally when you're in person, you're moving side to side, backwards, front to, you're interacting with the audience. Online is different, but it's something to adjust to. And once you compete, I'm pretty sure several competitions after, you'll definitely be better. So definitely compete. That's the term.
What about you, John? Have you had any questions that have kind of threw you off that you've received from any of your fellow Toastmasters or speakers?
As far as the question that threw me off,
Uh-huh.
the thing is a matter of like leadership.
Mm.
Leadership is one of those things where you don't really think about, and you somebody may say, okay, this position is open, but you're hesitant because you don't know what the role is. Sometimes it takes as much as somebody tapping you and say, okay, you can handle this position, whether or not it's president, VP of education, or something of the area director or so on. Everything is technically there to follow. And in addition to that, sometimes you just have to jump in and learn to swim in a sense, in essence. Sometimes it's that way. But Toastmaster, you don't have to really jump in and start afresh. Everything is laid out for you. So you should be good if you jump in. So don't be scared of jumping into a leadership role.
Oh man, that is wow. And the reason I'm going to tell you that is because you and I live by the same values with regards to doing something. I always tell the people who listen to me when I have an opportunity to speak to them is you need to take massive risk. And you just said it. You need to be able to jump. Don't worry about a safety net because somebody or something will catch you. And even if you do hit the ground, the most important thing you can do is brush yourself off, get back up. So that's exactly what you just said. And that's amazing. That's right.
Well, there is a song called by Aaliyah, Brush Yourself Off and Try Again.
Yeah. Old
Look
school
it up.
90s.
Look it up. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah, I love Aaliyah.
Yeah, she's great. But yeah, so do we have any more suggestions here? Well, we could bring up a ton. You know, I would say one of the other things that I can think of as a Toastmaster is when you initially start, right, and learning some of the basics is interacting in front of a group. So right now we're virtual, but encourage your club to also go hybrid. So that means there's some days you're going to have to encourage them to meet in person just to get that personal feel again, because you want to get both opportunities where your online experience plus the in-person, so you don't forget too much about the in-person experience. I know that there's a lot of talk right now about the metaverse, so we're all jumping into the online version. But for now, until that time comes, let's still interact with each other in person, get to know each other, and exchange that normal vibe that you would in person. So, Ricky.
I couldn't agree more with you. And what's beautiful about, I hate to say beautiful with regards to what happened, especially with this pandemic, but the one wonderful thing that came out of this pandemic with regards to our Toastmaster organization is we have an opportunity to see other Toastmasters groups around the world. It's no longer limited to our own clubs in our own cities and our own towns. And I can imagine, John, you and I both have probably been invited to different events around the world, may it be in Europe, Asia, or wherever it is.
Right.
We have an opportunity today. And I love your thinking with regards to the hybrid meeting, because you can have your guests from Australia, right there in Chicago or California or wherever you're located. So that's
Or Connecticut.
or Connecticut. Yeah, so that's one of the wonderful things that came out of this.
Or even Jamaica.
And,
yeah, man.
oh, I've been to Jamaica. I couldn't get enough of it. I wanted to say yeah, man, so badly.
Yeah, man. That was a bad accent, by the way. For me, Ricky's pretty good.
Oh no, mine was troubled. But if there's a tip that I would share with any of you Toastmasters that are going to be watching this, because John invited me, so I give credit where it's due, and I'm so blessed to be collaborating with this man right here, because he's got really great attitude, wonderful forward thinking for our group of speakers, as well as those who want to improve, not just the professional speakers, but those who just want to improve and gain confidence. The one tip I would highly suggest is this, and I don't mean this in a morbid way. The biggest regret you're ever going to have is to not have taken that shot. And this is something you need to realize. We're all headed to meet our maker one day, hopefully many, many, many years down the road. We're going to meet him anyway, or her anyway. you might as well take that risk, do what you want to do now, achieve your goal. Don't be on your bed thinking, I shoulda. Be on that bed and say, you young people have to follow me. I never let any opportunity pass me by. So if you have an opportunity to speak, speak. Lead, lead. You have an opportunity to help another person, be that altruistic leader. Get involved with your community and help them out. That would be one of the main tips I would give, because I live by it. John lives by it. Make sure to follow our lead, because we want to lead in a very positive way.
I certainly agree with that. So taking that opportunity, essentially you're trying, even if you're not great at it, essentially make your motto, try till you die. Essentially, at least you try something. And when you get to the end, as they say, at least you can look back and say, I tried it. I wasn't great at it, but I tried it. So there we go.
That's awesome. And you said something that I really live by, which is my friends, as well as John's friends, as well as Toastmasters who are going to be listening to this. You have to be willing to die for what you're passionate about. I mean that. You have to be willing to die for what you're passionate about. Otherwise, you'll never give it your best. You'll never commit to it. You'll never do what you want to do. Now, it's going to be fearful, but you've got to be willing to die for it. Me, I want to make sure that I'm able to speak. I don't care how messed up I am. If I messed up because I put in so much effort and so much training and so much of my passion into it, that pain is worth it. Be willing to die for what you love. Be willing to die for your goal and dreams. And just keep doing it.
And definitely, I think some of us may even stutter while we speak. And that in itself, that stuttering is an impediment for you, because you not only think because other people are looking at you and judging you in a sense, but how else are you going to get over that stuttering? The only way you will is to learn to control your speech by talking and talking and talking and talking. I think I forgot his name, Darren, I believe, one of the popular Toastmasters out there.
Yeah.
Suggested that you stage time.
Oh yeah, right.
That's one of his quotes that I remember. That just means that you have to just be out there giving speeches, multiple speeches, clock those hours, people. The more hours you clock in anything you do, more hours you clock, the more experience you get. It's that simple.
That's absolutely right. All you got to do is retrain. You got to retrain your brain, because most of us who have any kind of fears or any kind of impediments have to retrain our brain so that we can pick up a better and more progressive and more powerful habit that will empower us. That's right. So just keep getting out there, keep speaking, and I mean this, because when we're told, oh, you made a mistake and it's shunned upon, I have a complete different perception. Make as many mistakes as you can, and Toastmasters Arena will provide you that amazing platform to do that. Don't hold back. When you're at a Toastmasters meeting, don't hold back. Make mistakes. Who cares what they give you as an evaluation? It may be harsh. So what? At least you didn't do that at your job. You didn't do that in your church. You didn't do that in front of somebody that's important. You did it in a place that I consider my oratorical gymnasium. So make your mistakes. Don't look at them as, oh, I'm bad. Look at mistakes as a learning experience, not a debilitating one.
Talking about mistakes, definitely those evaluations, initially you're going to get them. Sometimes you're going to feel like commenting back right away. Just sit back and relax, take it in. It's going to be harsh at times when somebody actually critique you. It's a different feeling when somebody tells you what their opinion is of what you just said or your mannerisms and so forth. It's definitely a hard pill to swallow, as they say. But just sit back, relax, listen, and try your best to implement what they suggested. So some of it may not go well, or some of it I might not control, but at least take it into consideration. I'll turn it back over to you.
No, that's fantastic, John. You said it right, and you absolutely hit that nail right on the head. One thing that Toastmasters, it really gives you this intangible. If you continue to take these evaluations, the one mastery you're going to gain is thick skin. And you're going to be able to take anything that comes your way, no matter how harsh it is. It will make you more patient. It will make you less reactive, and it'll make you actually find more ways to improve rather than thinking, oh, they're attacking me. Because take it with a grain of salt. That's their opinion of you. For example, they look at me and John, they go, oh, both of you guys have no hair. So what? That's their opinion. Your opinion is not my problem. And I want all of you to think about it that way. Anybody's opinion of you is not your problem, as long as you know what you're doing is right. Just keep pushing forward and gain that thick skin. I don't even look for compliments anymore. When I finish speaking, give it to me. I don't want to hear the fluff. I was like, give it to me straight. Where can I get better so that I can kick butt even more, and I can give you more value?
And definitely, and in addition to that, I would say learn to yourself, give evaluation to others, because that helps you with your interpersonal skills. You by giving evaluation, you kind of look how people respond, so you can adjust. Sometimes I know I'm guilty of this for sure, because I have a tendency to be blunt at times, and I'm very responsive to a comment rather than thinking too much. But after learning how to evaluate, you kind of pre-calculate in some sense what you're about to say, so you don't give too much of damage to the person, so they can actually take it and move on for the next phase.
That's right. What's beautiful about what you said, John, is you as a leader have learned how to adapt. Because if it's a new member and we tear them apart, oh, Toastmasters is terrible. They just destroy you. They destroy your self-confidence. So you as a leader know when and how much pressure you need to apply. If it's a new person, we understand. We treat them with feathers rather than a baseball bat. Because when you're a veteran like myself or like John, we can take a baseball bat, though it's probably a wiffle bat, and we can take more damage because we are now used to it, and we look forward to it because we know that what you're telling us, regardless of how harsh it is, may possibly help us. So that's one thing I love about what you just said. We have to know how to adapt to the situation. If it's a bunch of newbies, we'll never give them a hardcore evaluation. We will point out.
Turn right out of there.
Right. You turn. You're like, oh no. We'll tell them what they did great. And we will also give them pointers on what they can do to improve the next time they speak.
Yep.
Fantastic, John. That's awesome, man.
Well, I'm not the only one giving good points here. So put some back in your basket.
Oh, we're doing it together. We're doing it together.
Yeah. So, but yes, on that note, those evaluations definitely help you to become better in leadership, but also as a good club member. So by that case, people wouldn't have a problem talking with you or becoming like suggesting that you become their mentor. And mentorship is another thing that sort of helps your journey as a leader as well, because once you have past a certain stage, rather, that's another opportunity for you to give back, because what you have learned, you can now turn it or teach it in your way to someone else. And by doing that, you're sort of helping them accelerate further. Example being someone come in wants to pretty much get their speaking abilities up quickly and fast. So one thing I would tell them, join a club, speak at that club, but also while they're in that club and speaking, simultaneously present at other clubs, many other clubs. That way you're getting feedback from other groups, your own group, and so forth. So you're accelerating at a faster pace by not just sticking to one club, one group, because when you're in one group, you get pretty familiar with those faces quickly in the evaluation. So when you switch it up now, let's say as Ricky said earlier, that you can even present in Brazil, go to Brazil. Maybe they won't understand your speech, so understanding the audience is very important. So a speech you're given in front of your hometown crew, if you switch that up and give it to a Brazilian audience who has a little, maybe a little English understanding, you may have to alter that to fit them better in a sense. I don't know if that's coming off well, but
It is.
basically adjusting your speech to cater to your audience. And that's very important. That's something you develop over time by presenting in front of different groups.
That's absolutely right. And there's one thing that you fellow speakers, Toastmasters, and those who are entering the realm of speaking, that's one thing that's extremely powerful that John just said. When you get in front of a different group, you no longer have that same dynamic with them, because the group you're in front of, for example, let's say they're energetic. Now you go to Brazil and let's say they're not, because their English is limited. They're a little bit more closed off, a little bit more, let's say, conservative. For example, I doubt that because they love the party. Now, when you get in front of a different group, you do have to figure out and how to adapt to that situation. And you have to find that middle ground, especially when you reach the upper levels, let's just say of competition or upper levels of speaking, because now you're speaking in front of a bunch of different people. Not to say change who you are, but get to a midpoint where you're still you're still energetic, or you're still very refined, whatever your personality is. Find that middle point by practicing at different clubs around the world. We have that opportunity now, and you can definitely get some amazing feedback, because you'll hear points that you've never heard before, since they don't know you. And you have to let them know, give it to me straight. I don't want to hear, oh, that was a great speech, it was so heartwarming. I don't want to hear that. Where did I screw up? And I tell them straight up, and they're like, oh, Ricky, you're pretty honest. I was like, yes, I don't want to hear that. Get to the point and kick my butt. That's what I tell them. And they appreciate that, because they say, wow, you don't mind getting tore apart? I said, no, that's how you grow stronger, when your oratorical muscles get torn apart and you have to find a way to improve. Yeah, so what you said is fantastic. Take advantage of going around the world.
I have to definitely take that into consideration, like telling them to actually rip me apart in a sense. That's a definitely a different approach, but I understand the outcome. The outcome is that you get the true evaluation, thicker skin, and you only develop from there. So definitely consider that once you're going up in the levels of your pathway program and your presentation skills and your tours around the world. Definitely adjust your evaluation so that you can get better feedback, and so you can basically grow quicker. I'll definitely take that suggestion myself, because I haven't really gone to another club to present since the pandemic, really.
Yeah.
So besides just talking to Ricky right now, this is my opportunity right now. So I'm going to take his consideration and push it forward a bit more. So that's given time, because time for everybody's limited. I know they said money is valuable, but time is way more valuable.
Time is way more valuable.
As you get older, you'll realize time is a lot more valuable.
Oh yeah, you couldn't have said it any better, my man. And what's interesting about that, the reason why I highly suggest to get torn apart is because if you don't let yourself become accustomed to that, you're going to be in for a world of hurt when you get out into the real world, where you get paid for what you do, because they're not going to hold back. They're not going to give you the sandwich method. They're going to get the sandwich and throw it at you. That's what you're going to get. You're not going to get no sandwich method. They're going to literally point out your flaws, your mistakes, the way you presented, the way you came across. If you do not prepare now, don't prepare just because all of a sudden somebody says, oh, you're going to get a promotion. No, be prepared even before that opportunity comes along. And the reason why I came along in the first place is because they see something in you. Be prepared, always prepare, always look for a way to progress, even 1 millimeter every single day. And I promise you, when that sandwich comes flying your way, it's because yeah, it's because they're handing it to you and saying, hey, great job.
Great points, Ricky. I was like to see how you calculate that millimeter per day, but hey, that's his way of calculating progress, so that's good. Uh, yes, definitely go out there, get the experience, and just become a better person overall. And you're learning to instead turn those around and encourage somebody else. So when you get that chance, grab somebody and pull them in. So you have learned a lot. So your best thing now is to translate that to someone else as you proceed further as well. So that's one of the reasons why we're giving tips now. So
Mhm.
to translate that to someone else who hasn't had the opportunity to now come in and start their journey. So that's it. It's not
Fantastic.
there's not a lot to there's we can come up with a ton of tips, right? But we don't want to
Absolutely.
saturate tonight and
Oh,
give you too many tips. We got to leave room for you to let this stuff marinate first, and then you can come back for more tips later.
right. And the last thing, and the reason I have to share this because when John said it right now, I want all of you to realize this, including John. When you are able to calculate how much you're putting in a day, and this is just me, because every day I learn something new. It may be words from the dictionary. It may be another way of presenting. What I do to calculate this is I write down, I journal every single day, and I write down, I learned this on this day. There is there is proof now that you implemented this particular tip or this particular action on that day. If you will just write down what you do every single day, you're going to realize, ooh, I've been growing every day. I learned 20, 30, 40, 50 words in a month. I now extend my arms completely rather than like a T-Rex because I'm shy. You will continue to see this progress if you write it down. And that's going to be one of the final suggestions John and I are going to give you. Write down what you do. Otherwise, you'll never be able to document. You'll never be able to see the progress, and you'll never remember everything you do unless you write it down. Look back on it and say, "Oh, that's when I did this." So that's from me to you, and I appreciate John for having me today. We've been meaning to do this, like I said to you guys, and here it is.
Yeah, we've been bouncing back and forth. So we had one delay that was on my end, but we're here today. That's what matters. We're able to make it happen finally. So, and I totally agree with Ricky, writing stuff down, because I understand that when you write it down plus reading it, and if you say it, that's
Mhm.
three modes of memorization. So writing, reading, and saying. That's your auditory, your visual, and your mechanical. I guess
Right. I,
mechanical.
I forgot the word.
So whatever it is, you're doing at least three things to remember what you've just written down, and that then you can come back to it and see and listen and hear whatever how you
Right.
have grown. So great point, Rick, and I'll definitely implement that as well, which I have, but I've been slacking. No shame in my slacking game. I've definitely been slacking, but that's definitely something I am going to implement as well. So thank you, Ricky, for that suggestion. Great having you today, and hopefully we can do this again in the future again. I think I just double take, but hopefully we can do this again in the future. So great having you here, and it's a growing experience, definitely for sure. And we'll do this again. All right.
John, thanks for having me, bud. We will definitely be doing this again. I can't wait. You just send me a message, send me an email, and I'm there.
All right. Sounds good.
All right,
So
bud.
it's been fun. It's actually, what time is it now on my end? Right now it's 10:38
10:38.
p.m. p.m. 10:38 p.m. folks. And Rick,
John,
what time
where
is
are you?
I'm in Connecticut.
Oh, you are in Connecticut. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So
I'm
John
in
is from
Connecticut.
Connecticut. I'm
Yeah.
from Cali, so I'm not gonna complain
Oh,
about my time.
he's 3 hours behind.
2 hours behind.
3 hours behind. So,
all right,
all right.
all right, John. I'll catch you next time, and I can't wait for us to collaborate again, my friend.
All right, sounds good. And see you soon, bro.
All right, bye bye.